Hey everybody. I started this channel. It's a new channel for me. The Sims content that I was making on my main channel, which is S More Art and Design, just wasn't hitting. So I made this is a new channel. It's all about Sims, like modern architecture. Um, so yeah, I did another video where I was kind of talking about basement walkouts and how they're like problematic in The Sims and how I love basement walkouts. And this is an example of that. Like what I wanted to do was I wanted to do a like a basement walkout, sort of a half basement walkout with like a light well type thing. I had this idea of doing this little step down like terrace thing with a patio, and like I wanted to. Um, I'm doing I'm doing this build in it's not Newcrest, like something Oasis. It's the desert one. Um, but I wanted to do it's one of these little like 20 by 15 lots, and I actually really like these little tiny lots, like where where I'm from, where I've spent a lot of my life is in Denver, like Metro Denver, and there's a lot of these little places where like they kind of take out like little bungalows and stuff that a lot of them were built in like World War II when the GIs were coming home, and then they kind of like they'll even take like some old buildings, and then they call it popping the top, where they take the roof off of it and then add a floor, and so or do all kinds of cool things with like the basement to do like interesting basement walkouts and stuff. So I really like that architecture. Excuse me. It kind of combines a lot of like the sometimes they have like really cool old brickwork. uh Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes they combine like really cool old brickwork, or they just have like or some of it's just like really modern, but it has like nice looking design. So I was inspired by that stuff, and then I wanted to, but we get a lot of sun, right? Colorado gets a lot of sun, and the like I wanted to do a build for like a sort of a modern build. Like you see a lot of this stuff where with these modern builds, um, like a lot of times if you have like a wall that's south facing or something, or southwest facing, then it will just get so much sun. Like here in Colorado, it will get so much sun that it will kind of like cook you. So you see a lot of this modern architecture kind of stuff where there will be like one wall, like the either the walls that face like east and west, or like or north or sorry north and south, that they have very few windows in them, and then they try to sort of do these interesting things like light wells and things like that that sort of capture that bring the light in, but try to do it in a way that doesn't cook the people inside, where it turns it into an oven. Um, so I wanted to do that, and then that's another reason why I like these little 20 by 15 lots, is because if you wanted to, you could take a bunch of them, like just take little houses, sort of pop them down next to each other, and then like get creative with your door locking or whatever. I kind of like having a lot of Sims on a lot at a time, like they're just sort of taking care of themselves and like doing whatever, like doing skill building, and or like getting further in their careers or going to school or whatever it is. Um, so like I had the idea like, oh, I could make kind of like little row homes, or you can kind of see that there's a townhome design like next door to there that I did, and like all this stuff is on the gallery too. It's in my gallery. Um, but here's where I started to run into problems with the platforms, was because the platforms don't want to just connect to uh, the ground around them, you know, unless they're raised, where it's like you can have stairs going down. So I tried to like sort of do a little stairwell thing, you know, going up and going down. And then this was like the compromise, is because like um, I like the idea of having these these kind of terraces where like the Sims can go up and down, and then this is in one of those warm areas that doesn't get a lot of snow and it doesn't get a ton of rain either, really. So I imagine that the Sims would be like spending a lot of time kind of outside, you know, doing things, but also they would need to be protected from the sun. So that's like the whole idea with this house. That's like what I wanted to do with this spot, was create a lot of um, sort of interesting uses of light, and then like outdoor kind of spaces and indoor spaces that like make the most of all of the sun that this place would be getting. Um, so yeah, I did want to do this little light well kind of bump out thing. And it's actually like after I move my sim in, it's like her favorite spot. It's like she just likes to hang out down there where the computer is, and she loves to, you know, kind of play like video games and just hang out in that little light well. And I imagine that it would actually be a little bit cooler down there because it's on like the basement level. Um, she probably does get a ton of sun, but this whole thing, this whole pack, or sorry, this whole build, I'm trying to use a lot of the eco living, like the windows and stuff, and then also later on, I just put plants everywhere, put like tons and tons and tons of plants into the build to make it as green as possible. And I also wanted to do these little wells, or sorry, not wells, but little like desert kind of plant things inside the light wells. Like so, this is the main level, right? And then this is the one that's going to be, well, actually the top level. I eventually did decide to put another, like the master, on top of this floor, and then this is going to be like the kitchen dining room, kind of like living room area. And it's so yeah, I wanted to cantilever out a dining room kind of over the bottom, the that little bottom deck, and then have that protecting it from the sun. And then um, but this is going to be like one of those kind of open floor plan designs where the kitchen, living room, dining room area is all going to be open floor plan, and you see that a lot. You see that a lot with a lot of like new modern architecture. And I was talking to somebody about that, and they said that it had to do with like it had good chi, that it's like feng shui or whatever, that it has good chi when the light that moves through the space is like there's nothing that really stops it. There's no walls that necessarily stop the light from coming all the way through from window to window. So like whenever you have windows, that you have windows on the other side, and then it doesn't really block the light coming through. But then like keeping with that principle, you don't want to have like there's some walls where you just like on that main floor, I want one solid wall that's going to be like for kitchen appliances and stuff, and just so that they don't get baked like in an oven by the sun. And then same thing with this bath or bedroom down here. I wanted to make it more of like a cave, and this is going to be like my teen kind of like college student bedroom down in the basement where they can like hang out in their lair. But yeah, so I need to have two full baths because it has two bedrooms, right? And I want the master to be like a big bedroom or a big bathroom, big bedroom, big bathroom, and then to have that second little bedroom be a more of like a almost like maybe kind of like a mother-in-law house or like a an au pair like a maid quarters or whatever, where it's like if they want to, they never have to enter from the main entrance, the main door, and then go downstairs. They can just come in through that little deck opening, that little side opening, and then the two bedrooms are very private. They're very separate. People can have their quiet time in their little alone space, like either in the cave or up on the top floor with the master. So that's kind of like the idea behind this build was that I wanted to do an open floor plan, modern kind of terraced design that had those two like solid walls protecting from the north or from mostly from the south side, and then making lots of light but also like cool little spaces for Sims to like hang out, do activities and stuff. So yeah, I was thinking that a lot of my Sims are casters. Um, so I was kind of thinking that I wanted to do this. I wanted to have like uh, sort of a modern boho, like what do they call it? Well, it's like boho is short for bohemian. um, and then have like the sort of like an eclectic witch who is like the mom or something, or maybe the dad. Maybe they're both casters, and maybe like the son or daughter, or like I ended up putting two beds in the little second bedroom because I thought that it kind of looked like they could be brothers in there, or like even twins, where they're like twin, kind of like casters or whatever. But one of them is more like kind of like goth art school. Like they're both into video games. It seems like everybody in this house likes to play video games. And then, but one of them is kind of like more art school goth a little bit, and then one of them is more like hardcore gamer. But yeah, but I did want to try and make things very green. Pretty much everything, all of the materials, I tried to use all green materials. So the only thing that isn't really green is the like the pattern plaster. The like on the exterior, there's a lot of this green pattern plaster stuff. And for some reason, in eco living, there's a lot of stuff that's like it doesn't really make a lot of sense why it's green or why it's not green. Like in yeah, in eco living, like some types of brick are green and some are industrial, and I think it's just because they look more industrial, but it affects their like the lot's ecological footprint. Like the neighborhood will start to fill up with like smog and stuff like that if you have too industrial of a footprint on your lots in the neighborhood. Um, so, and then that's like part of eco living too, is that they have like neighborhood action plans where you vote on things like having green gardening initiatives or upcycling, where you or recycling and upcycling, where you take things to the maker space, like you go through your trash, take stuff out of the trash and like recycle stuff, or um, like going that they have these community spaces in eco living where you can make you can vote on whether it's like a community garden or a maker space or like a community marketplace or something like that. I actually decided to go ahead and make a designated maker space, like actually build a maker space building that's like a permanent building in my what's the eco living can't remember the like the town or what it's called, but the I decided to actually make a devoted makerspace building for all of the Sims to use. Um, but it's a cool pack. I think it's like it's kind of an underrated a Sims expansion where it's like there's just all kinds of green things like doing green construction. They use a lot of shipping containers, which is funny because like when I was in art school, we had an interior design department, and that was like the joke with them was that shipping containers are just not they're not green. There's nothing green about using shipping containers for construction. It's like if they're not doing their job shipping goods around the world, then they could be melted down. Like the steel could be used to do other things, recycled, recycled, and turn like you could turn make a small skyscraper out of all of the steel that's in the shipping containers that it takes to make one of those shipping container buildings. It's just not really green design because you have to cut into the shipping containers and get a structural engineer to come in and reinforce things. And like once you start cantilevering things on top of each other, then it totally defeats the purpose of how they plop on top of each other like Legos. And if they aren't directly on top of each other like flat, then um, it just defeats the purpose. It's just like it's just an aesthetic, like the but it's not green at all. But yeah, I mean, some things that they definitely got right, like upcycling using maker spaces and recycling and um, you know composting and just all kinds of stuff like that. That's kind of fun. That's in and like the ability to add solar panels to your homes and deciding what kind of materials that you want to use based on their ecological footprint, like if you want to use reclaimed wood or like engineered hardwood and stuff to do floors, they give you that option. Um, and I wish they had like a modular homes because I think that that's something that would be really cool in The Sims would be to use like modular home designs if like that's something that people could I guess you could put it in the rooms in the gallery. But anyways, yeah, like this Lightwell thing, it ended up being like a huge feature on this build, and it's like later you'll see my when my sim is in there. I thought I was recording when I was doing some of the decorating stuff, but I ended up kind of going for more of a like a bohemian, kind of look where it's like the building is really modern, but the person living in it has pretty eclectic tastes, and they like stuff from all over. Like they shop a lot at like World Market or whatever. um, and but I really really like the Lightwell. I really really like the Lightwell stairway, where like the stairway becomes like a feature, like a main feature. See, here we go. Here's all of the glamour shots of Nikki moving in and her favorite little spot in this build, which is to just hang out and play video games right in there, like at the bottom of the light well. Um, but yeah, I mean, it kind of kind of inspired me to do more builds like this, where it's like the a lot of the house is kind of built around a feature like a staircase or whatever that sort of brings in light, or it's like a sort of a convivial space where there's a lot of like activities and stuff that are happening around there. Um, yeah, more shots of Nikki going up the stairs, hanging out in her little light well. Uh, she actually seems to like that room down in the basement, like the little mother-in-law or like college teen like bedroom, better than the master. I had to like force her to start using the master, like go up there to like read and like hang out and stuff. Um, yeah, here she is going up to go read, hang out on her patio. But I really like this build. It's like, like I have a lot of dream home, like kind of architecture stuff that I've done in my game. Um, but you can kind of see like all of the plants everywhere. They're just like all over the place around here. Um, and but it gives a lot of shade and it makes the lot like nice and green and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, take care, guys. I will see you in the next one.